Good afternoon, Sawny Board of Directors. My name is Thomas Litz. I am looking to fill one of the empty board positions. These are my candidate interview questions. For the first question, on a difficult decision I've had to make in the past and how it was resolved. In my line of work, being a restaurant manager, now the restaurant general manager of the West Seneca Applebee's, I've had this happen many times, and it's very hard to pick maybe one instance. But one instance that does really come to mind is, unfortunately, I had an employee that was not getting along with another employee and decided to take upon herself her own actions to try and get the employee terminated. This was done by the employee having her boyfriend fill out a guest complaint against the other employee. Unbeknownst to us, when we first received the guest complaint, it looked 100% legit, and unfortunately it was going to cause the employee, in the context of the complaint, to get let go. But through due diligence and research and investigation that we do on all accounts that of this happening, we found out it to be suspicious and found out that it was actually the boyfriend of one of our employees. So we brought that employee into the office and had to have a difficult conversation with her, asking her many different questions. And unfortunately, we did have a difficult decision to make and do what kind of action did we take with her. And because there was really no other action that could be taken at the time, we did have to terminate her from employment. And that was the resolution of it. It probably was one of my most difficult moments because she was a very good employee. She did a good job. And talking to her and through many times after, if she would have just followed the correct processes, and that's what I emphasize highly with all my employees: follow the processes of reports and filings and complaints. That probably would have been preventable for her and the other employee, and neither employee would have gotten in trouble, because it was a simple misunderstanding. But when they took it in their own hands, we had to make that difficult decision. One word that would describe me would be hardworking. I'm constantly moving, constantly going. I recently, like I said, I have now become the general manager of the Applebee's in West Seneca, New York. And even now, new employees that have never worked with me, first thing is, wow, you work a lot harder than what we're used to seeing. It's just my nature to be very hardworking and support whatever group, organization, work, whatever it is. I give my all, and want to work as hard at it as possible. A time I needed to be flexible to do something for the greater good. A lot of my answers are going to be about work, and this is the case for this one. A time when I had to be flexible for the greater good was, at one point, I was what they called a training mentor for Applebee's. So I would go around to different stores, do training audits, and I was also on what they called the bar council, which is we'd make decisions for the company, help our regional directors and everything make decisions for the company based on the bar business. And it was a very big honor to be involved in both of those things. But unfortunately, I had to be flexible and step away from both those, not even though they were great for my personal gain, and a great development for myself, my restaurant at the time had lost a manager. So I stepped away from those councils and those extra duties, not for myself, but so I could concentrate more at the restaurant and help develop other managers, other employees, be supportive for other managers, and take over. Another time, several other times I could say this too would be when we had a manager go out on disability for medical issues, and at the time I was the bar manager and worked mostly nights, and I had been a kitchen manager before, but she was currently the kitchen manager, but within a day I had to basically change my complete schedule around my work, my outside life, everything, to start working mornings more than nights to take over the kitchen manager position in her stead. So again, it was for the greater good of the restaurant that I do this, and even if it affected me a little bit in my personal life, it was okay, because again, I could develop and grow, but I also could help the establishment and the work and my workplace. Where can I see the Alliance in 5 years? I would have to say, with our rate of growth, anything is possible. I could very easily see us being maybe not 100%, not a national. At that point, I could see definitely 10 years down the road us being a national charity group, but I could definitely see us being more statewide and having multiple chapters instead of just being localized in the Western New York area. I also could see us being highly recognizable, especially as we grow and do more events and more actual charitable donations from ourselves. So definitely I feel the sky's the limit, and I could definitely see us being very, very involved in more than just the Western New York area in the next 5 years. One, I don't know if it would really be a subcommittee, but one thing I would try and help develop or suggest would be a more outreach to the community in non-costumed. We already do an amazing job with hospitals and museums and all the costumed events we go to. Something I would suggest would be maybe putting a subcommittee under that, marketing of non-costumed events. You know, more of us actually putting charitable causes and taking a group of children to see the movies, or to a movie, or to a hockey game or something, and just stuff that would still fall within our parameters as a charity, you know, and our mission statement, but not necessarily always in the costume state. Example would be this past summer when we did the Ronald McDonald House, and we cooked dinner a few times. Stuff like that I think will help realize my previous statement on where we could be in 5 years. And the impact that I feel I could make on the board of directors is, one, I've been part of the group almost since its inception. I have a lot of trust amongst the members, so I feel a lot of them talk to me. And I've also seen things through the group and have ideas of, again, things to make the group grow. And I would want to be very hardworking in progressing the group and having it maximize its 100% potential, while while impacting the community and making it a great place for our members and so on to be involved in. I thank you very much for your time, and If you have any other questions or need to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. Thank you. Bye.